Isn't it time you learned how to actually program your mind for true anxiety healing, true anxiety recovery? There are way too many people out there running around trying to find solutions to their anxiety. Today, I want to make it simple. I want to give you the exact principles to follow in order to reprogram your mind for true success over anxiety. Let's dive in. My beautiful peaceful warriors, welcome to another important video on my channel. If you haven't subscribed and hit the bell for all the notifications for my videos, please do that. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, click here at any point in the video. Now, I thought to myself, what kind of video should I make today, right? I mean, there's a lot of content out there, a lot of YouTube videos I make a lot of podcast episodes, 2 different podcasts, but I wanted to focus more so on specific principles that help you to kind of rewire your brain so that you can align yourself with recovery. Because you don't need more information. Okay, what you really need is someone who's been where you are right now and has step by step, little by little, gotten to the place where you want to get to. That place of inner freedom. That place where you're not so focused on the elements of anxiety. That place where you no longer see yourself as some kind of a sick person or someone who's just always introverted or shy or fragile or these sorts of comparisons with the other world, right? So I want to focus on reprogramming your mind today for anxiety healing, and we're going to start with this, okay? How you live with symptoms will determine your progress. Not a how-to or step-by-step manual, but how you live from one moment to the next. Your lower self, okay, your unconscious side, your monkey mind, will always try to convince you that you need a step-by-step thing. That's why there's a lot of people out there asking me, how do I do this in this situation? How do I do that? There are hundreds and thousands of questions coming from everybody suffering right now. But what we need to truly understand is your life experience from one moment to the next will determine whether you are healing or continue to be connected to the addiction to suffering. Now, what that means is that we can stop looking at all the how-tos, okay, and all the formulas and all the techniques, and we can focus on the experience of now. This experience, as you're watching this video right now, who's watching it? How are you watching it? Are you sitting there hoping for the exact words that will then make your anxiety poof, go away? Because if you're doing that, you're allowing your lower self to dictate your recovery. But your authentic self, your higher self, understands that if you feel safe in listening to this video with me, if you are here not to look for the Holy Grail, but to have someone speak to you through direct experience and support you, if you're watching this video in a gentle, patient way, you are programming your mind for anxiety healing. So who's watching this video? When you walk to your car, as you're driving your car, right? As you're going for a walk, as you're waking up in the morning. All of these life experiences determine whether you are healing or connected to the addiction to suffering. So it's not about the how-tos, it's not about the formulas, it's not about the techniques. It's about whether you feel safe with what you're experiencing on the inside and outside from one moment to the next. Do I feel safe with these symptoms? Do I feel safe with this thought that just appeared? Do I feel safe with these people around me in this environment? That's the question. What's the answer? Then we have how much focus is on your body, how much focus is on your symptoms compared to the experience taking place around you. This determines a massive point in your anxiety healing. So if your focus is on your body, your symptoms, and your unconscious thought patterns all the time throughout the day, you are going to continuously live in survival mode. Okay? But if your focus is starting to turn to the things you see, hear, feel, the words coming from another person's mouth, the things that you can smell as you're going for a walk, these sorts of things. If your focus is more so on the external and not so much on the internal, then you are telling your brain that life equals safe, not life equals potential danger and I need more symptoms. So this is huge. Where's your focus going as you're going through the day? Then what your association is to symptoms. Is it danger or is it safety? Which shows the brain symptoms are either necessary or not. If you continue to look at your bodily symptoms, your mental symptoms, your emotional symptoms from the perspective of danger, physical danger, or mental danger, like I'm gonna go crazy, or what's wrong with me, why won't this go away? If you continue to associate your symptoms from this viewpoint, from one moment to the next, you are wired for perceived danger, wired for perceived threat, which means you're telling the brain that it needs to keep telling the body that we need more symptoms. In turn, to reprogram your mind, okay, what we have to do is we have to create new associations around symptoms. And we can do that through our response to symptoms. We can do that through recognizing how frantic we are when symptoms show up. Are we frantic or are we quite calm in the face of them? Okay. We can reprogram our minds by recognizing that the continuous and consistent thoughts that show up in the mind are only there for overprotective reasons. They are not the truth. They have nothing to do with true. Nothing. In fact, the vast majority of those unconscious thoughts that continue to spur on symptoms that make you believe you're an anxiety sufferer, they're coming from the world. They've come from other people. They're not even yours. If you had someone that you're going to the cafe with and you're sitting there with that person and they're blabbering about how difficult the world is and how dangerous it is and how every symptom is some kind of physical danger, how long would you want to be sitting with that person? Right? I would say, well, nice to see you, but I'm on my way. I got something to do. Bye-bye. It's the same way you treat these symptoms, the mental, the emotional, the physical that show up in relation to your overwhelm, okay, that you're experiencing. These are symptoms of overwhelm. So, I hope that analogy helps you to see the truth behind things, okay? Now, what you speak to others and what you say is also reprogramming your mind, either for anxiety healing or continuing to stay in the addiction to suffering. Okay? Now remember, the lower self loves extremes, right? Talk about your symptoms nonstop. Talk about the pain. Talk about how difficult your life is and how your past traumas have just accumulated and how special you are in this addiction to suffering that you're going through. That's what the lower self wants you to think. Or, what's the other extreme? Don't say anything at all. People will ridicule you, make fun of you, right? Don't say a word about what you're going through. Now, what you're going to notice, not only just with speaking to other people and how you relearn to converse with other people as you're healing anxiety, because that's a stage, right? What you're going to notice is when the mind or body pulls you into extremes, often the most healing thing you can do is the thing in between both extremes. Okay? So, and that's going to show up in so many different ways. And I call this the middle way. We just opened up our Anxiety Guy Coaching Certification course. In fact, today at theanxietyguy.com, check it out under certification. In it, I talk about the mindset of the middle way. Not taking this extreme of do, or that extreme of don't do anything. We're talking about the mindset and the attitude of the middle way. As you get more acquainted with the middle way, you're gonna know what to say. You're gonna know how much to say it, right? Because for so long, it's been your unconscious mind that has dictated what you say and how often you say it. Now, there's a different part of you at the wheel of the bus, taking charge of your life. It's going to feel kind of weird and strange. It's definitely quieter than the lower self or the unconscious mind. It's quieter and it's a lot more gentle. Okay? So if you're in this place of listening to that quietness and gentleness within you to guide you towards anxiety healing, comment below. I want to know if you're in that stage or not. Now, to reprogram your mind as well, we have to ask questions around your identity. Who are you? I'm not talking about who you want to be, right? Or who you're trying to manifest to be, okay? I'm talking about who are you? When you wake up in the morning, you open up your eyes, okay? Are you that person that is like always sore, always in pain, always experiencing symptoms, always in the place of trying to stop an illness or sickness from manifesting in your life? Are you that kind of person that's always on guard? Therefore, when I ask you, who are you? You would answer with those answers because that's actually who you are. Okay? Who you identify with. Who you identify with, right? This determines your results the most. Now we have to ask ourselves some very important, honest, and sometimes brutal questions. Who am I really? Right? Not who am I authentically? Not that. Who am I right now in my reality? Because you're going to find that a lot of your identity is connected to what you're experiencing on the inside and the results you're getting on the outside. Right? If you have, look at your social circle, for example. If you look at the people that you spend the most time with, you're going to recognize that a lot of that is connected to how you see yourself as an identity. Who am I? What do I truly deserve? Okay? Who am I at an authentic place? When you shift your identity, when you look in the mirror and see someone different, someone who's capable, gentle, and patient, then you're also retraining your brain away from threat and danger and towards safety. So identity plays the biggest role in your anxiety healing, I promise you. Because when you start identifying with someone new, you can look at all your symptoms from a whole new vantage point. Not from the inside, but from the outside. Oh, that's something happening in my body. That's something happening in my mind. That's not who I am or what I have to follow. You see the difference? Now, Aristotle said, the purpose of knowledge is action, not knowledge. And what that means is if you're in the stage of following your lower self or your inner protector who says you need more and more and more and more information and knowledge, then you are being led by your anxiety. But if you're taking that knowledge and this knowledge and using it as consistent action from one moment to the next, you are reprogramming your mind for true anxiety healing. So let's step out of that frantic place of trying to consume as much information as possible in the hopes of something switching in our brains and bodies. Let's move out of that place and let's recognize what some of the most important, regular, repetitive principles and habits are in your life that you need to apply from one moment to the next to send safety signals to your brain, okay? And once you start to simplify things in this way, you're going to find that you stay out of frantic world and you move into allowing world. You move into responding world, right? And you feel like you've got so much more control over yourself and your life than you ever thought you could have. My peaceful warriors, I hope this video spoke to you. If it did, please give it a like. If you watched till the end, please comment below because I want to know who's truly invested in their anxiety healing and their overall transformation. I want to know specifically, so please comment below. And if you want to learn more about the brand new Anxiety Guy certification course or any of my programs, click right here. Remember that you are more than anxiety. Don't ever forget it. I'll see you in the next one.